we're gonna ask you questions.
Yeah, bro, this is your fucking tripod, bro? This shit is not that big.
I dropped this shit in Tennessee and look.
Does it look any different?
Not that I know of.
When have you tested it since?
It increased, bro. It's increasing.
I don't know how this is an increase.
Gotta get the chill vibes going already. Okay, let's start. Okay, welcome to Some Ordinary. We're here interviewing. Introduce yourself.
Is it like full government?
Yo, you can do full government, or you can have like your tag or whatever.
No, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so my name is Gabriel Arechavaleta.
What do you do?
I was currently working at a screen printing place for a while as like a shop hand, and I did that for 7 months. And then, but what I study and what I want to do is be a graphic designer, which is what I already consider myself one. So, but I'm an artist of all sorts.
How did you get into graphic design?
So I wanted to go to school to be an animator. There's no animation schools around here, but they had commercial, whatever it was, right? Communications.
Communications art.
Yeah. And then that's where I met Miss Soto. And I did my first animation and I hated it. But even though we were like not really doing that, we were learning how to do design, I kind of started to fall in love with that process. So I was like, I can do that. And it kind of also spoke back to comic books in a way, because before all of that, I wanted to be a comic book artist, but I was trash. And I was like, maybe I could just design the covers of comic books instead of doing the whole layout. And it kind of like grew up into that. Because now I view it as graphic design as like the perfect medium. It's like, oh, look at that. Like I'm designing covers.
Yeah.
I'm drawing. Sometimes shit moves around. So it's pretty cool. It's a medium consisting of all mediums.
But you currently study at New World School of the Arts. What's the biggest thing you learned there?
I think the biggest thing I learned there was getting out of my comfort zone, right? Like Rosario was always pushing me. And Rosario also like shot down all of my first ideas, second ideas, sometimes even my third idea. So I think like one thing I really learned there that like I didn't know that I was not necessarily that I didn't think this already, but I didn't know how important it was to me. At New World, this is not just like for graphic design or for anything like that. Like this is like kind of something that comes with going to that school for everyone in every department. But dude, where you're from, being where you're from, heavily influences your artwork no matter what, in the smallest ways, like unimaginable. So I think through college I learned how to appreciate Hialeah, so I really love it. 305 till I die.
You have a perspective of graphic design that everything is graphic design.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Could you elaborate on that?
Okay, so this argument started a long time ago with Anthony.
Yes, who's Anthony?
Oh, Anthony's my best friend.
Okay.
Yeah, so this argument started a long time ago with him, because when we first got into New World, like they make a really huge divide between what's considered fine art and the rest. Like, the rest, right?
They could be doing that.
So I've always thought graphic design is cool, right? Like it's like graphic design is the medium where like beauty, aesthetics, all that stuff, like yes, it's at the forefront, but also like everything else, like it's all fake, it's all conceptual. Like they build the real world, right?
Yeah.
Like everything around you and your whole life and all you walk around and all the posters and all the album covers that you like and even the business cards and the small little trinkets that you decide to keep is like that's somebody's like creative child, like brainchild that didn't exist before that certain random person came around.
I just thought of it.
And so I like the idea that graphic design helps you like shape the world around you. And then also it's everything is graphic design, even stuff like paintings and things like that. Because I feel like if a graphic designer makes it, it's graphic design, number one. And number two, like even things that aren't necessarily like what you would imagine to be graphic design, like how I gave you all these examples earlier, like music and magazines and things like that. Like even things like the Bible, like all those early copies of the Bible that were like painted by hand and all that stuff, all the typography is graphic design.
Yeah.
Like all those illustrated manuscripts, those gigantic letters that start off like a sentence like the, but the T is huge.
And it has
all these embellishments and all that stuff. Like you're gonna tell me that typography, that typographic art isn't graphic design? No. So if you really want to think about it, it's about as old as the Bible. And me personally, I think it goes all the way back even to cave paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let's put it like this. People want to call them cave paintings all the time, but where the fuck is the paint? There's no paint. They were playing around with all of the things that could eventually become paint, like all of the materials that eventually evolved into making paint. Fun story about that though, a lot of those materials were also used in the process of making ink, and then we can't deny that prints are graphic design, right?
Yeah, prints are. Yeah,
prints are graphic design. Okay, so
indubitably.
All right, hand print. right? You make a print on the wall. Likely, the first human art piece was a handprint.
No, more definitely than it.
And let's think about another thing, right? People always want to say that graphic design is like what cheapens it is its reproducibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can just print my hand 100 fucking times if I wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Because it's my same hand.
How would you define your style? Like, do you have any inspirations?
I definitely do, yeah, for sure. Paula Scher is like my biggest inspiration. I like, maybe not so much stylistically anymore, kind of. Like, she has a collage style, kind of like bombastic kind of style. But she was like when I first decided I wanted to do this in high school, I was like, okay, well, I need to know who else is doing it. I need to know the big names. So she was like the first one that popped up, and I fell in love with her stuff. So I was like, okay, that's sick. She has a really like experimental style. So I don't know, like pretty much everything I've ever consumed has influenced my style in some type of way. Like I can't really go back and tell you all of the movements and things. Like, yeah, David Carson, I really liked remember I told you the ray gun issue that he did?
Oh yeah.
With all the dingbats.
Oh yeah, the dingbats issue.
Yeah,
where
so,
the whole thing is just dingbats.
I like my stuff to have like a sense of humor, but my style is my style. I mean, it definitely pulls from other stuff like 90s futurism, things like that, like early 2000s. Like,
how does intuition play a role into your work?
Oh, it's all intuition, to be honest. Like,
Is it all?
yeah, I mean, a lot of it is obviously like what you learn, right? But that's not like what you learn. I would not consider that intuition. But once you've learned it, your intuition knows how to use it. You know. So everything I've ever learned, obviously, that helps me become better at just using my intuition. Like instead of having to be like, okay, let me look at some layouts that look good, right? Yeah. I've already spent 4 years looking at layouts that look good, and I'm going to spend the rest of my life looking at layouts that look good.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I'm making one, I'm like, okay, this looks good.
Yeah.
You know? So that kind of thing. Like, and like, I don't know, when I'm making a piece, like, I just work until I'm done, like, until I feel like, okay, well, it's over. You know? I mean, you have to consume, like I said, like, I think it was like a Basquiat code or something like that, like, but it was something along the lines of, like, yeah, you can't just make art. Like, you also have to live your life, too. And then that will make your art better.
Yeah. What is your creative process?
I don't know. I usually have the idea, and then I try to find the materials that I want to play with, and then I'll just start. And then I listen to music, just to have it in the background. But it doesn't necessarily, like... Maybe it does. Maybe it does inform the stuff. But I'm not sure if it does or it doesn't.
Subconsciously. Yeah,
subconsciously it might. But I think I just start, like... I don't do a lot of... I know a lot of people like to, like, write out and plan and, like, then think about, like... I do research, but then they also write about the research. Like, I don't write my stuff down.
Yeah.
I kind of just start thinking about what I want to do. And if jumping into it is not working out intuitively, then I might have to, like, actually start, like, okay, I have to sketch. I have to think about some words, like, pick some colors or something, like, go back to the drawing board a little bit.
You have a lot of work that's based on Miami and Hialeah. What do you like about Miami?
I love all of the Hispanic culture that's here.
Everything. No, yeah,
that shit is the best, bro. That shit is the best. I like that. Like, everyone comes from a different place. You can talk to anyone, English or Spanish. It's probably one of the few cities in the world, like, not the world, but it's probably one of the few cities in America where, honestly, not knowing Spanish is going to be hard for you. Like, you're going to have a hard time getting around, at least in Hialeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because in Miami, you can definitely get away with it. But
yeah, definitely not knowing Spanish in Hialeah is, like, kind of...
It's kind of tough, yeah.
It's kind of critical, bro.
When I was younger, I used to hate living here because, like, there's kind of, like, in Hialeah, there's not really much to do. Like, when you're, like, a teenager or nothing like that, like, there's no bumping spots. There's not really, like a nearby skate park. You know, you have to drive.
Yeah, you have to drive everywhere for Hialeah.
Pretty much everywhere. So as a kid, I was like, oh, I hate this town, like, kind of vibe, like, as most teenagers. But then as I got older and I started to appreciate where I'm from and, like what this place means to my parents, and then, like, in turn, what that means to me, what my parents' story means to me, and then how I'm not the only person who's living here. Tons of people have the exact same story as me, and it made me really appreciate, like, my life, just my whole life in general, and where I'm from. Like I told you in school, one of the biggest things I learned in New World is to appreciate your life because it's totally connected to what you do.
Yeah.
So Hialeah is, if there's no Hialeah, there's no me. You know, literally speaking. Like if Miami, Florida wasn't 90 miles away from Cuba, my dad wouldn't have gone on a raft, almost risked his life to get here, and then start a family in Hialeah, and then I wouldn't have been born here, and then all of my opinions and everything that shaped me growing up would have changed and made me a completely different person. So I love this city because this city made me. Where
do you see graphic design in the next few years? Do you see graphic design in the next few years?
As an industry, as a huge scale industry, it's going to take a pretty large blow because, like, I feel like a lot of corporate companies would rather just have the AI make it. And AI is getting way better. Like, it's not like how it was before where like you could kind of tell, oh, it's like something's off about this poster or something like that. Like it's getting way better. So I feel like for most average corporate jobs, that shit is gonna be eliminated because they're just not gonna, like, realistically speaking, they're not gonna want to pay you. You know? So like if it gets to the point where a computer can make a really good design, like at least to a company standards, certain companies, then yeah, that like a large chunk of that field is gonna go away. But I don't think that's a bad thing because then there's always gonna be like there's always a reaction to the mainstream, so there's like a counterculture. And then the counterculture to that is that there's going to be a bunch of companies who don't want to use AI for that same reason because everybody's using AI. So what's going to make my company different? Oh, I have this guy working for me, or I have so-and-so working for me. So I feel like it's always going to be like a balance. So then I feel like outside of like a huge industry, then obviously stuff more like this that's on the local scale is going to blow the fuck up because nobody who's like who's worth their weight in salt, as they say, is going to use AI for like their local band poster. Or their local project. Anything that's local, anything that's small is always going to want real authenticity. So there's always going to be I feel like a space to create a spot, to create good art, create good graphics. You know, I think in Miami, the scene is starting to blow up now a lot more than let's say like 20, 30 years ago. I feel like a lot of young artists are too broke to leave, so they're staying here, which I like.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of slowly growing, and there's more and more stuff you can get into. So where's graphic design gonna be in the next 10 years? Like, I don't know, in your backyard.
What sets your work apart from everybody else?
I don't know actually, bro. But you know, people tell me. You did not like that answer. One of the first things that comes to my mind probably is that I work a lot by hand, as opposed to a lot of other designers currently. I suppose, like, I'm not saying it's the most rare thing, but at least at school and things like that, like, compared to maybe some other people, I work probably a lot more with my hands. And then on the grand scheme of things, the physical work does set me apart. Another thing also is probably, like, my mindset on design is not just, like, about, like, getting a job or, like, having a career. It's, like, literally about changing the world. Like, I can't stand for bad graphic design. And I feel like, as a kid, when I was younger, one of the part of the reasons why I wanted to have this job, or, like, become a designer, is so I can just change all of the logos and change all of the bus stops and change all the posters for everything and all the CD covers and all the album covers, like, and make that shit more presentable, you know?
Yeah. And
so I think it's about like the means of production that I choose and my mindset on it. When I was a kid, bro, I just didn't like looking at all this stuff. Like I remember being a kid, and I used to like looking at old Coca-Cola like posters and stuff like that.
Yeah, those logos.
And I would think like, damn, that shit is hard, right? And I would go out into my real life. And I would walk around, and none of the advertisements, and none of the packaging, and none of the book covers, and none of that stuff looked as good as it used to. I know it's a super old head thing to say or whatever, but like none of the out there available mainstream stuff looked as good as the mainstream stuff of back then. Because I'm not gonna lie, there's still really great stuff now.
Yeah.
But you just gotta go really digging for it. But like back then, people were walking around, and every corner store had like an interesting logo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a completely different thing when the world around you has beautiful imagery, like just as default.
Can you talk about the challenges and lessons you've learned along the way of your art journey?
There's no such thing as artist block. That's a lie. I think that because before, when I used to believe in it, right, I would get to these points where I want to create, and then I just didn't, right? And I'm like, oh, it's artist block. No, it's all a choice. Like, my issue was that I didn't want to create something bad.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just wasn't creating anything at all. And so you don't move forward that way. And that's what you could say is artist block, but that's not real. Like, you can still create. Even if it's bad, you're still creating. Like, you're still moving forward. And eventually you create enough bad stuff that you get to the good stuff. Mm-hmm. And also, like, you can create whatever you want. Yeah. I tell this to people all the time. But I think it's a mindset thing, so it doesn't always work. But just make it anyway, you know? Like, just sit down and make it anyway. Draw something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Draw a couple circles, scribble. Just do it anyway. Even if you don't want to. Because when you start making the stuff, like, my mindset on that truthfully changed when I did the 140. Alright? For those of you at home, right? Me and this guy go to an art school, New World School of the Arts.
Yes.
There was a professor there named Aramis, and he has an assignment where you have to create 140, anything really. They're called paintings, but we have a very, like, huge, broad definition of what a painting is.
Yes.
But you have to make 140 of them in a week. And at first, that sounds like a gargantuan task, like, impossible. But then you're like, oh my god, I actually have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to be done, bro.
Yeah, at least, and especially for us, because we're in the graphic design program, so, like, if you fail even one class, you're stuck behind a year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, it's either this or I just don't graduate at all.
Yeah,
you know?
literally.
So when I sat down and I made the 140, it clicked. Like the first couple pieces, like the first 6 to 10 pieces, you are a little stuck. I'm not gonna lie. Like you start making it, it's fine, and then you get to around 10, and you're like, fuck, what do I do now? Like,
yeah,
I've made a.
You've exhausted your resources.
Yeah. I've made everything, and then you're like, I talked to him about it. When I got to around 20 pieces, I was truthfully lost on what to do. Like at that point, I had already used all of my materials. I genuinely had nothing. And he was like, all right, bro, just do some crazy shit. I don't know, put some paint on your nose and do push-ups on a piece of cardboard and see what happens, you know? And yo, once he said some shit like that, I'm like, damn, so you can really just do anything. Like, you can really just do anything. And then when you start doing all that crazy bullshit, like that's not really anything, like, what'd you say, like real, I guess you say, like you're just out there playing. The artwork starts to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you're working on something now, and I don't know, for some reason you just can't figure it out, like you're not happy with it, this and that, and then you move on to the next thing. It might be that while you're working on that next thing, in that process, you realize, oh, this thing I just did could work perfect to fix the problem of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's just this whole big conversation that the work has with itself. And that's how you create, really. And then another thing that I learned, the client is always wrong.
Oh, yes. I remember you were telling me about this. Why is that, bro?
The client is always fucking wrong. Because they don't know shit. Most of the time, you're going to be working with a client in the design world, and painting too, I guess, but in the design world, you're going to be working with a client, and they don't know anything about graphic design, actually. They don't know anything about graphic design.
They don't.
But they have all to say. Like, and that's the one thing that pisses me off. There's nothing I can do about it now, but I promise I'm going to change the client-designer relationship.
How would you change that? Do you know how?
Not yet. I would say there's just a lot of I think picking the right client for sure, and also explaining to them your idea wouldn't generate as much as you think it would. And 9 times out of 10, I would argue the client is always wrong, and that's something I'm learning to accept a little bit because it pisses me off, but it's also my job. Whoever built this idea that the customer is always right is a fucking villain.
Oh yeah, villain, bro.
That's some bullshit.
That is some bullshit.
That's some bullshit. No, what do you mean the least experienced person in the room is always right? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. So, Gabriel, what matters most to you in life?
Oh, my family. I can't lie. Well, my family are my real day ones, bro. Like realistically, bro, everyone in this room could switch up on me, man. But not my family.
Not the family?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been probably with you forever.
Yeah, I mean, my whole life, yeah. And I'm gonna always support them, and they're gonna always support me. My brother is the reason I'm an artist, actually. My brother, when I was growing up, he would also draw a lot, and he was into skateboarding, so he liked all the graphics on the skateboards and things like that. And,
how much of the art that you create do you keep?
You know, actually, recently, a lot. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, none.
None at all? How come?
Bro, I just lose them, or I give them to people, or things like that. Bro, a lot of my portfolio from the beginning of college, I don't even have. It's dead ass only the stuff from last year and this year.
But what happened to it? Did you throw them away, or did you?
Some I've thrown away over the years. Some I've given away. Some I've just misplaced. I just don't know where they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, things like that. I don't know where any of the work I made in high school is. I like owning it. I think also my mindset on that kind of thing has also changed because I feel like there is an importance for an artist to document their work and have a history of their work because you can also see yourself evolve that way too. Yeah,
that was gonna be my following question: is do you think art you make in the past to now is a documentation of your life?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, it reflects your mindset, it reflects your skills, it reflects whatever you were going through, whatever you thought was interesting at the time, that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely, it's a timeline of yourself.
Yeah. I can imagine that, especially how you started so young. Did you have that same mindset when you first started art to now?
What do you mean? That it's a reflection of you?
Yeah.
When I was making the art, for sure, I knew that I was reflecting myself, but I didn't care too much to keep it. I didn't think about that archival, being able to look back on it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, it was just more like a stick and go.
Yeah.
Did it, next one.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Well, I was my goal was always just to make the next one.
And do you think that plays a role in how you make your art now? You're just thinking about the next one after?
No, I don't know. I do kind of still think about the next one, what am I going to make next, but I'm not so concerned about it. I just know I'm going to make something, you know?
Has there ever been a time where you went without creating much?
Yeah, for sure. Like, probably like high school is the time where I was creating the least.
Mm-hmm.
I would still make stuff. I would try to make stuff, but then like I told you, like I would get frustrated that I'm not liking what I make.
Yeah.
And for like months would go by and I wouldn't make anything. And like now, like I kind of just make all the time, even if it's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I still count that. Even if you're just printing out some bullshit, it's still something.
Yeah.
You know, it's one more thing you've made.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making art my whole life, bro. Like.
Wow. And do you think it's always just been a way for you to just like express yourself? Or has it just been something you just did as a hobby?
Bro, you know, I did it because my brother was drawing, but when I was younger, I just wanted to be exactly like him. So anything he was doing, I was doing. So like if he was skateboarding, I was skateboarding. If he was drawing, I'm drawing. If he's listening to rock music, I'm listening to rock music. But then the thing with art is that like the other things like skateboarding, my brother's 10 times better at skateboarding than me, right? But I never had that drive to become better at skateboarding, right? But with art, when I first started, obviously my brother's better than me. He's like way older than me. So imagine he's like 15, I'm 5.
Yeah.
Right? And he would draw stuff.
Vast experience difference.
Yeah. He would draw stuff and I would be so frustrated that I couldn't draw like that. And it was basically the only hobby where I'm like, I have to be better. Like, cause it was one of the few things I realized like I knew I wasn't good at skateboarding, you know what I mean? And I knew I wasn't good at sports, and just in general, you know, I'm not like a mathematician. I'm okay at reading, like I'm not dumb, none of that, but like I knew I was better than the average Joe at drawing, but I wasn't better than my brother, and I wanted to be better than him, you know what I mean? And I was like, this is the only thing I'm good at, so I have to be the best at it. Yeah.
And do you think competition drives you to do bigger things?
Earlier back then, for sure. Nowadays, to a certain degree, yes. But if you let the competition consume you, you're low-key gonna make some shit. Like, it's not gonna be good. But I do kind of want to be ahead of the curve, you know what I mean? I still want to be part of, like, the movement of artists who are making some cool new shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The message of Some Ordinary is the desire that keeps the dream alive. What is your dream?
My dream is, I want to have a physical building where I make my stuff. But I also want to print my own magazine, like I told you. I've been on that shit. I'm not gonna say the name here yet. It doesn't exist. So
don't say it.
We can't.
Up and coming.
Exactly. We can't let people out there start taking my ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But also, yeah, I always wanted to do that. But just mainly anything community-wise. Like, I want to also, like, interview folks, but for, like, physical print. And outside of designers, I want to interview all creatives. I want to also create a space too. Like that physical building is definitely important to me because I could do all that stuff that I'm saying right now, like out of my room, like how we're doing right now. But I want to also have a physical space because let's say back of house is production, whatever. You know, I got a bunch of computers. I got me and my team are working, slaving away all day long,
typing buttons,
and then I might have like a storefront in the front where it sells people's zines. You know, it sells the stuff we're printing. You know. Provides that type of service for maybe most of the time, but then I could also clear that space out and have it be a gallery space, you know, so that all these people who want to become like fine artists and all that stuff, like I don't know, at least from what I've learned in school, it sounds like you have to deal with a lot of really shitty type of people, rich people who are gonna take advantage of you or who want you to stick in one position and all that kind of thing. Like you have to play that game for a while before you have your own say. And I'm like, that's bullshit, so...
Yeah, I feel like people shouldn't have to deal with that either.
If I create a space where people can hang up their stuff, and people will come watch it, like, go see it, like, it'll really create a divide between the artists who want to create art and want it to be seen by everyone, and the artists who only want to do it for the title.
I'm not gonna lie. That's really fire.
Good job, Gabriel.
You know what that says?
What does that say?
I can't fucking read.
It says for the clowns at Some Ordinary. Not for real.
It has different lore, bro.
There you go. Thank you.
Fuck you.
Everybody's working this weekend?
Well, like...
This is from This is from a 1970s Playboy magazine.
Oh shit! Wait, do you have the magazine?
I think I gave it to my brother or someone as a gift, but this, yeah.
beat off gift.
Beat off good. There's a newspaper store in Fort Lauderdale that sells a bunch of old Playboys for $1.